And in
So
the first, yeah,
I mean, I realized that after e3, most people play b5,
yeah, the first move.
and um, and then we usually, I mean, we have to take. And now, I mean, there are two lines. There is this line, which is maybe slightly worse, I think,
Yeah,
and some
BB7
people
line
play
is
this, right?
bad. Also E6. E6 is the classical variation of the classical defense, the most common one, and it can lead to few lines that are in second, third, fourth, and fifth chapter. Because this one, B5, E6 is, I think, the most common line played in Antichess. And the BB7 line, I also played it when I was 15, 1600 because this one is usually the first one, like to discover and to start playing and trying because there are few forced moves and black will remain with two rooks, knight, and 4 or 5 pawns. I'm not sure now, but in general, it's not good because how can you move two rooks on the same file and one knight? Your moves are completely restricted, and you are forced to shuffle your rook and wait for white's development, and that's not what you want. But the beginners are having very big problems as white because there are many pieces on their side. They don't see pins, for example, and it can lead to mate for black if the white player is not experienced enough.
So maybe we can go through the bishop b7 line very quickly because this is a line which some people play. And maybe
Sure.
I can show you what I got on the board several times, and maybe you can then tell me. I mean, now after bishop takes d7, of course, if black takes back, you have the problem that this bishop is then eating everything, and it's just losing. So I think the only move is this one, and then I think this is pretty much forced. And now I think most people play either first takes
Queen has
or
to
bishop
take first.
f3.
Queen has to take first.
Okay,
And
takes,
here
and
are two
now
options. Also, I've seen once that player can take with bishop. I think it was in solution also as the stronger move than king takes, but it doesn't matter. It's like +6 and +5.5. It doesn't matter. And yeah, bishop f3 and bishop d5 are two moves that are not losing in this position.
so what I get very often is this. Now queen f3 and knight d7. I mean, the point is if you take here and you have to take back with a rook, then it's completely losing.
Right?
So black wants to take back here with a knight, yeah?
Yeah. There is also one trap. Let's say, move it back, please, before your queen was capturing.
Yeah?
Once again. And here, sometimes I've seen that uh, one back, I mean after knight d7, when black moves knight
Okay?
d7.
Yeah?
Yeah, here. I've seen also that queen takes h a8 here. It's not losing, it's a bit equaling the position, but there's the trap when black moves the knight back to b8
Mm-hmm.
and queen recaptures the knight, and here comes the problem because the bishop is completely pinned, protected by rook, and there's a slide. So this is also a trap that beginner can fall to, but usually I've seen moves like g6 or
Mm-hmm.
h5 in response to this, but this is the same end game. For example, no pieces for black, only pawns, and white can develop as much as he wants.
But if we take now this position, I saw that the computer likes moves like e4 and c4. Um,
e4 is good move. You need to pressure the knight, and the main point for white to see here is that the rooks are connected and also both are guarding the knight. So here can be a solution to attack the knight directly, and I have one trick here. For example, black is moving the pawns g6 or h5, for example, to make some place for the knight or rook.
yeah.
And I like move a4 here with idea of rook a3. And if black starts to shuffle or something, then you can, yeah,
No.
right there or directly attack the knight, but you need to be sure that there are no intermediates for black. And you can unguard your knight here in this position. You
And
can
now rook
only move
a3
it
or?
rook a3, yes. You're developing your rook, and you can now freely move on third file, third rank, sorry. And now black has to do something.
But
I've seen the
but if I
best
move
move.
here, then it always runs into rook d8, no?
You cannot move directly to there because now it's not connected because there is still knight between the rooks. But for example, I've seen move knight h7 here.
Okay, but then I can
Like
go rook d3. But if black waits, what do I do?
if black waits, you are in charge. You can, I think, attack the knight here, for example. But now it's black's turn, for example. Yes,
Ah,
and
okay.
I think if you move the yes rook f3 and
And now the point is that, I mean,
here.
normally in this motive, if you put a rook on the same rank as the same file as the knight, then you often have this motive that you take back with the knight. But here it doesn't work because the knight, you can force it to go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, or you have rook b3 if the knight is moved somewhere.
Okay.
Because any knight move is connecting the rooks back again.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, but the e pawn is very important in the first move. Like e4 is important, and or you can sacrifice the e5 pawn first to get rid of the knight from that.
Yeah.
Some
But I
possibilities
think there are
maybe.
many winning lines already
Yeah,
here.
there are many winning lines. So this is like my idea, what I used to play when I played e3 some times ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I don't play it because it's too common and I'm not much into forced line and very common stuff. So yeah, the BB7 is very weak and white can always beat it.
So maybe, yeah, okay, yeah. So maybe then we could have a short look at this. And now I think the line which I always get is bishop takes and now b4.
Yes, there are very many lines in this position because this is the classical defense and mostly played by players. So you have more options here. There is option of knight h3, very strong move, also in Watkins solution. If you move it, then there's a bishop free to sacrifice on a3, but that's not the move you want to play because white will recapture with b pawn and your light bishop is hanging. And there's a forced move to bishop c8 and your queen is opened and white is completely winning in this position because there is no space. The knight on b8 can be pressured. Also the rook on h8 is very weak because there is knight with some possibility to open it. Also queen h5 can came in some point, and this is not the line you want to play with bishop sacrifice on a3, for example.
Okay, I get it. So, and this line with b4, this is also something which I get very often with black. And now I don't know what to do. So basically here is where my knowledge stops.
Yeah, there's a option for a4 move. I think it was recommended by Stockfish also. And now black is forced to take something. It doesn't matter. It's not losing or winning. So let's say here. And now it's important to recapture with the bishop because after bishop takes on a4, there will be queen opened, and you want to get rid of your bishop because it's not very easy to maneuver it here. And in this position, players can take with the king or also with the knight. I think the knight version maybe can be a bit more annoying because he has to do something on the rook corner there because there will be a capture and queen a1 is available for checkmate. So there can be some, for example, knight there or
I mean,
knight to
I would be a bit
c6.
worried here as white about these intermediates with rook d8 and rook d2, but probably this is nothing, yeah?
No, it's all safe. It's all safe. Let's say rook d8. You will sacrifice. You will capture on e6, right? And here you will recapture
And
with
now
king.
I can even recapture with a queen, I guess, yeah?
Queen is not the best move because there will be king to d7, and here you have free space. Black's A, B, C, D files are totally empty and weak, and you have queen to try some queen h5 fork. For example, you can attack the rook's pawn on h7 or the king. So there are plenty of options. But
Okay.
white is winning here. So this is one of the lines played, and I think in the third chapter is the another line that can be very interesting.
You mean this one or?
I think first four belongs to this,
Oh, okay.
so it's you can go through them all. It's all fine.
Oh
And
yeah, this knight a3 I also saw a couple of
yeah,
times.
this
Takes,
is
takes.
called double pawn attack.
And
And
here
the main
I think I saw this move. And
yeah,
then
this is
something
the
like a4
stockfish.
and queen takes, yeah?
Yeah, stockfish recommended move. Queen h4 is important to not let a4 be captured by bishop, of course, and a4 is also pushed. And this is the line, I think, followed by rook b1, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And here is queen capturing on c2, I think, and
Yeah, it's white to move here.
yeah, this is the line by stockfish.
What, queen h5 or something? Or
Rook b1 first
rook b1? Ah,
is
okay.
the engine move. If you move to queen h5, you can have some problems because black queen will capture on c2 and immediately recapture your own queen. So you will have infiltrated black queen in your near your king, and
So maybe we can show this. So this is always something that I struggle with. If you have both queens, one queen is here and one queen is here, to see like at what point you should take back.
well, queen racing is very tough skill in anti-chess, and I really struggled with it when I was 1800, and then I decided to learn it on some very good level, and now I am the player who starts races. And very important thing is to in races to be sure that you can recapture the queen, you have some moves, or you can take some free piece, or you cannot. You need to calculate the possible moves of the queens because queen is it has a high range. We know that all,
But is it just
but
calculation or do you have some general tips?
both. I have both, and one friend, never mind again, the winner of yearly tournament, once gave me the tips. Like for example, never take third or sixth ranked pawn for
With a
one
queen.
reason. With queen, yes,
Mm-hmm.
in the race. For one reason, if it will be like a long queen race, then those pawns which are separated will survive. And if you have none and your opponent have one or two, it can be the problem because there will be one pawn left and the opponent can have advantage of more pieces and more space and everything can go wrong for the pawn. So this is one general tip. And also, for example, you need to also have spaces for your own queen. Like, for example, g7, b7, b2, and g2 squares are good when the bishops are not there. Because you can just infiltrate, take the rook, take the knight, and continue to taking on some row, for example. And you can stop the race if you want, and then maybe capture something and open the bishop, for example, or rook, maybe not.
Okay. So I think. Oh yeah,
The
this is all this.
second chapter is the racing line, which is played after the b4 move you
This
told me.
one or
Yes. I firstly found that Florentin Olteanu from Romania, known as Change Opening and also president of International Anti-Chess Federation, was playing this line. I was curious, like, why? And then I saw it's completely winning and very easy to win when you know what to do, because there are many forced moves in this line. And here it stops because there are plenty of options. But the most common move here is bishop takes on a7. And it continues there. For example, depends on black's queen. If black's queen takes on a8, you can decide if you will capture the knight, or recapture the queen, for example. If you will recapture, for example, the queen here, black will take with the rook, he will take his rook, and this is also winning game for white. It was
This is
very
winning
important.
because of this rook, or what is the main reason?
The complete position is very fine because the rook also is very strong piece in this line, and white can bring the other knight to the queen side and pressure the open area because the bishop will be probably gone very soon. And strongest move in this position by Stockfish is knight to f6 to recapture the bishop with knight.
Okay, I mean, one line, this is always where I'm struggling with in-game. Something like this, right? But I think here, let's see. So here I have to take.
Every bishop move here is losing.
So I can even take.
You take knight, king.
And now take on e6, yeah?
Yeah, right.
Okay, yeah, this is
Any
losing.
bishop move here is losing.
Mm-hmm.
And also bishop a4 is losing with the same combination. I'm not sure if it's forced from there, but you can definitely outplay black. Black has no king, just two pawns, bishop, and maybe knight or something. No space, and you can take it as advantage.
Okay, perfect. So I think, I mean, in openings in general with Stockfish, it's relatively easy to analyze it on my own. But I think your ideas about the queen races, for instance, how to take on the 6th rank and like these general principles, this is something I really appreciate and I really think I can improve from, basically. Yeah.